recording. Um, and then let me share the agenda for today. And again, we may end up with just two presenters, which is fine. Happy for anyone that's able to be here. Okay. Can you all see the agenda? Couple of head nods, confirmation. Okay, thank you so much. Thanks for playing along, folks. All right, so welcome to the March Recovery Network monthly meeting. Our presenters today include the Wellness Council of Indiana, who will be sharing about their uh, recovery at work program they have. And then let's see, we'll have Matt from the Hickory Network, Hickory House Recovery Program that's in multiple counties. And then we do have a third presenter lined up, Aaron Shaw from Intercare. We'll see if Aaron is able to make it this month or not, maybe. Otherwise, then at the end of all of the scheduled presentations, we'll open up to everybody to share information about your programs and services and really get some networking happening in real time. Like I mentioned, if you could or you want to, feel free to drop your contact information in the chat so folks know how to follow up with you if they're interested in learning more about your program. I'm going to stop sharing now and I'll drop the agenda in the chat as well. And then also if you could please, oops, sorry folks, I gotta let more people in. Multitasking, I'm a one-woman show now, so just bear with me. But yes, if you could please keep yourself muted until it's time for Q&A. So after each presentation, we will open it up for you all to just provide feedback or ask questions to the presenters. But just to eliminate background noise, please do keep yourself muted while the presenters are sharing. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Abby with our first presentation.
Wonderful. Thank you, Heather. Go ahead and share here. Can everyone see my screen okay? Okay, wonderful. Awesome. Well, thank you, Heather, for giving me some time today to talk about our initiative, Recovery at Work. So my name is Abby Glazier, and I'm the program manager with the Wellness Council of Indiana. And I've been with the Wellness Council for about a year now. And I lead our initiatives as they relate to substance use disorder, recovery, maternal health, tobacco cessation. And I'm also heavily involved with our mental health initiatives as well. So just a little bit about the Wellness Council of Indiana, if you're not familiar with us. So we're a 501c3 not-for-profit organization and a subsidiary to the Indiana Chamber of Commerce. So through this partnership, we take a workforce and economic development approach to employee health and well-being. So we view well-being efforts as a strategic business practice to help recruit and retain top talent. So we work with workplaces and communities throughout the state to develop and maintain and evolve their strategic well-being strategies. So we are a member organization and we help guide our members through their own unique wellness journey. And we're proud to work with over 1,000 member organizations throughout the state. Thank you for sharing that, Heather. And then if you have any questions about membership, feel free to grab the email here that's at the bottom of my presentation slide. It'll be there the whole time, and you can have a conversation with us about what membership looks like for your organization. So I'll dive into the content for today. So we're going to talk about recognizing and preventing in the workplace and kind of what that looks like as it relates to substance use disorder and recovery support. So these are our objectives for today. So I want you to understand a little bit more about substance use disorder and recovery in the workplace and what those impacts can be. We'll talk about those practical ways that employers can support recovery, as well as how prevention really builds that resilient workforce that we're all striving for. So just to kind of level set a little bit here, I want to talk about a survey that we conducted in 2022. So this was of Indiana employers, and it inquired about substance use and recovery within their organizations. So as you can see, the employer is heavily impacted by absenteeism, decreased productivity, as well as a shortage in workers. Something really interesting that stood out from this study was that 89% of employers agreed or even strongly agreed that substance use was a problem within their community, but only 8% of them agreed it was a problem within their organization. So, as we know, the issues that are happening within the community are going to be mirrored within the organization population as well. They can't be separated from one another. So, this really spoke to maybe some misunderstandings and some stigma that may be happening within the workplace for Hoosiers. So, let's talk a little bit about stigma in the workplace and what that might look like. So, these are from a 2024 survey that Shatterproof conducted. And it kind of talks about stigma and what that might look like. So through this report, we can see some sort of common prejudices within the workplace of people with substance use disorder. So those could be that they are unpredictable, incompetent, bad with money, violent, or even untrustworthy. And for those of us here that know someone with substance use disorder or in recovery, those are not the words that we would use to describe them. So something else noteworthy is that people seem more open than in past years to have someone with substance use disorder as a coworker, which is a great improvement. But they were still unlikely to hire them, which was sort of interesting from this study. Additionally, we see an unwillingness to have someone with SUD as a supervisor. So here on the screen are some of the common consequences from workplace stigma. So as we saw in the last slide, stigma can really influence hiring discrimination against those in recovery. And according to a survey by IU Indianapolis, stable employment was identified as the top factor that would make accessing treatment and support easier for an individual, the number one factor. So we know that these consequences are what an employee feels or what they see when they're misunderstood or unsupported. And that really is across the board. So with any wellness category, these are going to be the consequences of stigma. And we know that an individual who is stigmatized is going to be less likely to reach out for support and really receive that early intervention. And according to a study from Harvard, 89% of employees want their employer to provide general information about misuse risks of opioids. But 68% of them expressed concerns that it would lead to them being treated differently or feared it would raise suspicions from their coworkers or supervisors. Again, so that stigma and that even that self-stigma really showed there. That same study found that while 72% of employees said that they support keeping coworkers in recovery as long as they're doing good work, 1/3 believed that their employer would more likely fire someone seeking treatment than support them. So this may not be true. That employer may not fire someone for seeking support, but this is the stigma that exists within the organization. 1/3 of the people believe that to be true. So communication can really go far in one of those situations. So let's talk a little bit about the business case. So often, this is the first hurdle that becoming a recovery ready workplace, what you might encounter. So securing that buy-in from those organizational leaders is really important. And that's really where this business case comes into play. So utilizing the National Safety Council Substance Use Cost Calculator, you might be familiar with this. I generated this example based on an Indiana manufacturing business of 250 employees. So this employer would lose over $200,000 due to substance use. I do want to point out that this calculator works based on the costs of active, untreated, or undiagnosed misuse, SUD, or addiction. And this includes prescription drugs, alcohol, illicit drugs, including cannabis. So keeping that in mind with all of these numbers here. So some things that really impact that job turnover and retraining category there can be access to or knowledge of those affordable treatments or care, lack of workplace flexibility and support, and then in termination in lieu of a second chance policy, which we talk about those types of policies and others like it in our Recovery at Work convenings that we'll be hosting in 2026. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later on. And in that healthcare cost category, we can see higher numbers there related to the delay in diagnosis and treatment and the higher number of ER visits, as well as comorbidities that may be diagnosed, like depression, for example. So this calculator also generates a slider tool where you can see the impact of intervening and helping employees by seeking early treatment. So you can decide how many employees you want to engage as a goal to present this number, or however many employees you've already actively engaged to kind of show the success. So here you can see the amount of money saved from just engaging 50% of that 250 employee population. I'm going to give everyone just a moment to read through these really positive statistics. And these are for people in who are assisted into recovery successfully in your organization. So I think these really prove why assisting employees into recovery is so beneficial for your organization. So according to the National Safety Council, an individual who is in recovery is absent 3.6 days less than the general workforce. Again, I think that really speaks and echoes a theme that I've been hearing throughout delivering this initiative is that an employee who is supported in recovery are some of the hardest working and loyal employees that you can have within your organization. So here we see some more really positive outcomes from assisting employees into recovery. And again, these are all really similar to any sort of chronic disease support or wellness support that we would see within any organization. These improvements are going to be multifaceted, and success can be measured in a multitude of ways. Our Hoosier Wellbeing Data Project that we published last year found that counseling reduced turnover by over 9% in those diagnosed with substance dependence. So just seeking that counseling alone really made over 9% a reduction in turnover. Which if you work in HR, that 9% really makes a big difference. So here are some other ways that we can really measure success of a recovery-ready workplace initiative. So that participation number and satisfaction of those participants, changes in those health practices, skills, or attitudes, any clinical or financial outcomes, and improvements in productivity and safety as well are key measurements to watch out for. And then also on the screen are some other measurement tools that are available widely that can be utilized to measure this strategy as well as other mental health strategies as well. So let's talk a little bit about mental health support, really more as a prevention strategy. So that same Hoosier Wellbeing Data Project found that 52.9% of individuals who were diagnosed with substance dependence conditions were also diagnosed with depression. So I think this really shows that the two cannot be separated. Mental health challenges and substance use dependence come one and the same. So we need to recognize that and see how maybe those mental health support strategies can help that early intervention window. And I want to point out that this diagnosis rate is 2.5 times higher than the general population. So from that data project, we hosted a cohort of Indiana employers and we discussed strategies around mental health, communication, and engagement. And we also offered a mental health first aid training. So these were a few of the impacts, the really positive impacts that we're seeing through those interventions. So we saw an increase in treatment rates, we saw a decrease in ER visits, and we also saw an increase in EAP utilization. So 2.2% may seem pretty small, but I do want to point out that the utilization rate for EAPs is usually around 4%. So that's nearly double. So let's talk kind of what those practical strategies are in a recovery-ready workplace. So I want to introduce our Recovery Ready Workplace badge. So this badge initiative is here to provide employers with the framework and tools needed to really create that recovery-ready workplace. So this initiative is meant to meet all the organizations where they are, whatever step they're at within the process, to improve their workplace year after year. So there's continual improvement. Once an organization successfully completes the steps, that organization will be recognized as a recovery-ready workplace and can display their badge proudly. So here on the screen are some of the steps that are laid out through the badge process. I'm just going to kind of briefly go through these here, again, because I really cover them in depth in our in-person convenings that we'll host through 2026. So that first step, and sometimes the hardest one, is just getting started. So that starts with really completing that internal readiness checklist to determine maybe where those areas of focus need to be. We'll assess cost, resources, and policies that already are in place. And then also important, confirming that leadership support, that buy-in that we talked about. Next is building a team, and it really does need to be a team. If you've ever built a wellness strategy before, you know that it takes a group to really gain traction. So those are the people that will really bolster the initiative, build it, and improve it over time. With any wellness strategy, we need goals. We need to determine when we're successful and kind of track where we're going. So goals around this initiative may revolve around improving awareness, policies, training staff and management, as well as improving access. So those are some really key ones to kind of focus around if you're not sure where to start with a goal. And then the last one here on the screen is that launch. So I want to plan those conversations and activities that are going to improve awareness, reduce stigma, while also providing that education that may be lacking around substance use disorder and recovery. And then similarly, integrating into communication. So we don't need to reinvent the wheel here. Utilize communication strategies that are already in place and that you know work for your organization. The important piece of this is sharing the right materials, using the right language, and remaining consistent in that communication. Policy alignment is also really important. So reviewing those general wellness initiatives that are already in place, like flexible scheduling, return to work, mental health days, and viewing those through a recovery-ready lens to make sure that this group of individuals is supported in those as well. Other policies that may be helpful to adopt or alter are going to be drug-free workplace program policies, second chance and fair chance policies, and Narcan or naloxone policies. And we'll dive deeper into what these are and how to implement these in our in-person convenings during our part 2 session. And then that last one there is recognition and visibility. So being a recovery-ready workplace, we'll display your logo on our website and you'll receive a social media toolkit. That way you can share your badge success widely. So just sharing that in general is what I like to call a stigma buster, showing that you're really supporting individuals who may be experiencing these challenges, but just also that you're open to supporting anyone who's experiencing any type of challenge and that those conversations can happen. So it really does wonderful things for a stigma-free culture. This initiative is completely free for Indiana organizations. So go ahead and grab that QR code here really quickly, and it will take you to our Recovery Ready Workplace Badge page. So there you can view all of the steps that are laid out and all of those tools and resources that are free to access to really build this program within your organization. I got another QR code for you here. So this is for our Recovery at Work events page. So that's what I've been referencing as I'm talking about our in-person convenings for 2026. We'll be traveling to several communities to convene local employers, and we're really empowering this conversation even further and diving deeper into those community resources and what those support systems look like for each county and the surrounding counties. So we'll be in Allen, St. Joseph, Marion, Hamilton, Clark, and Vanderburgh County this year. So go ahead and head to that website. Again, this one is free, so feel free to register and join us in whatever location is convenient for you. It's a great way to network and connect with those employers, so that way you can really build that community connection. And then last one I want to mention here is our recently launched Workplace Wellness Training Academy. So this was in collaboration with the Colts Kicking the Stigma, if you're familiar with them, and is a hub of evidence-based trainings. And these are really to help prepare staff for navigating those workplace well-being needs and conversations that happen within that stigma-free culture. So we currently offer mental health first aid, the working mind, the employee and the manager version of that training, QPR, suicide prevention, and an opioid overdose response training as well. We're always looking to add to these trainings to really grow our academy so that way it has a good breadth. And if you visit our website, you can choose courses and training dates that really work well for you and maybe some of your other staff members who would find value in these trainings. We also offer on-site training so we can come directly to you and your organization if that is most convenient for you. And then I want to mention that we're having our Working Mind employee version that's to be happening on April 14th. And this course is really unique because it provides guidance on how, on an individual level, someone can identify and manage stress, burnout, and mental health challenges, and kind of relate that into the workplace as well. And then lastly here, I want to kind of talk about just the benefits of Wellness Council of Indiana membership. So members receive recognition, best practice sharing, employer solutions, and opportunities to convene with other wellness professionals throughout the state. And again, that email down there at the bottom, we'll be happy to chat through kind of what that might look like for your organization. My contact information there on the screen. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions, if you want to talk about our convenings or the badge or really anything related to wellness. I'm always open to connecting, convening, and hearing more about what is offered throughout the state. So with that, I can open up for questions.
Thank you, Abby. Y'all are doing a lot. So thanks for sharing all of that information. Does anyone have any questions for Abby about their programs, trainings, anything shared? Okay. Well, I like that recovery at work is free for Indiana organizations. So I love that. I think that's really great opportunity. And so for folks that want to pursue that, let's say their organization doesn't meet the full criteria to earn the badge, do you all provide TA to help them get to that final step or phase?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Happy to meet, have discussions about maybe where some improvements can be made so that way that application is really strong. And really, the purpose is year after year for there to be improvement. So there's always going to be opportunities to grow that program and make it more beneficial for all. Nothing is ever perfect and done, so there's always room for evolution in those. And our convenings as well really provide a lot of technical assistance as well. So that would be a great way to build that application up in person with us right there with you.
Okay, and I think I've seen it, but I'm not sure. Have you all had some substance use treatment providers complete that and earn the badge?
Yes, so currently we have, yeah, we've awarded 4 badges so far, which is really wonderful. And treatment providers, we have some just kind of recovery assistance and resource providers as well. Those organizations are really just natural fits because they're already doing a lot of these things already, sometimes unknowingly, but also just very strategic in having individuals with lived experience is so important for these organizations. So it really naturally fits.
Yeah, and I could see that being a value, not just for any organization, but especially for folks that work in behavioral health, saying that we are a recovery supportive employer, is, kind of practicing what you preach. So awesome. Okay, well, I know I won't take up too much time because we have more presenters, but thank you so much, Abby. And Abby's information is in the chat, the presentation's in the chat. So please follow up, look at their website, because I believe some of you all are in the counties where their convenings are being held. So it would be a great opportunity for you all to attend and connect with each other. So thank you, Abby.
Thanks, Heather.
Okay, next we will kick it over to Matt with the Hickory Network. Matt, if you're ready, go ahead, please.
I'll try to follow that tough act by Abby. I don't know if I can, but so I'm with Hickory Recovery Network. We have 370 beds throughout the state, 7 locations: um, Linton, Corydon, Terre Haute, Indianapolis, Lawrence. So, I mean, we kind of cover the whole state. We also have a 45 bed um, commercial place with Hickory House, and that we mostly people with like EAPs for like companies and stuff. That's where they typically go. We take alcohol, heroin, fentanyl, opiates, um, cocaine, and prescription pills, and then we also work with co-occurring disorders, depression, anxiety, PTSD, and bipolar. Um, Currently, we only do 18 and up. Um, we don't have an adolescent track right now. That's something that we are exploring doing in the future. Let me see. So we take presumptive eligibility, and we also will start that process for somebody as long as they haven't had been denied for insurance in the last year. We can get them started on that presumptive eligibility track. Um, Exclusionary things, we can't take somebody that's active suicidal ideation or psychosis. But if they're not in active suicidal ideation or psychosis, we can take them. But if they're inactive, they need to go to a higher level of care than us. Um, Anybody that has a methadone prescription, we just don't have. We're not able to provide them with that prescription. And if they're not able to do ADLs, perform brush your teeth and those kind of things, get around, then that's something we also can't accept just because we don't have the staff for that. Um, we take pregnant women um, up to 30 weeks at our Lawrence facility, and we also have a women's only facility in Terre Haute. So if that's something, if you have somebody that maybe had um, domestic violence issues or something, that would be a good place for them to go. Um, we do take sex offenders at our Linton facility. Uh, everything is like subject to review though. So um, you can call our hotlines open 24 hours a day, and then our intake department will kind of listen to what's going on and see what the best place is, where the best spot would be for you, and if how far a level of care is, would be most appropriate for you. Um, I think we allow smoking. We take Medicaid, everything but Medicare. We don't take Medicare. Um, yeah, I think, and that's pretty much all I have as far as facts about us. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know.
All right. And I think I might have missed it. Did you mention how many counties Hickory is now in?
How many counties?
Mhm.
We service the whole state. I think so. I would say seven. We're in seven. We have seven different locations.
Okay.
Uh, well, Lawrence and Indianapolis are in Marion, so
Okay.
um, that would be the same county. But Greenfield, so that's Hancock County, I believe. Um, and then we also have a Knox facility, which is private insurance. So
Okay.
not sure where you guys, as far as what counties you guys take. Or,
Yeah, well, we have folks from all over the state that attend this meeting. We've even had folks that come from the neighboring states every now and again, which is always exciting. But just wondering, like, I think because we're a statewide organization, that's how I think of like, I know counties more than I know cities and towns. So, and did you say I did drop the brochure PDF in the chat too
yeah,
format if anybody wants to check that out. Did you say that you all do provide transportation? So if somebody wants to get into one of your facilities but doesn't have the means to get there, do you help with that?
yeah. I didn't mention that, but thank you for reminding me. We do help with transportation. We have dedicated drivers, and then we also have we work with Uber and Lyft and stuff like that. If that's because we do all over the state, so we may not have somebody available in that time. Um, so always, yeah, just let us know that that's something that's going to be a barrier, and we'll do our best to work with you and see. I've given people rides to places before if I'm in the area, so we just really want to help if we can. And if you ever have any questions about somebody, whether that you think whether they would be a good fit, feel free to reach out to me, email me, call me, and I'm a middleman. I have to ask those questions too. But um, yeah.
Awesome. I think that's all the questions I had. Did anyone else have any questions for Matt?
Matt, I had a question. I heard you say that you take women who are pregnant up until 30 weeks. What's the process for them after that 30-week period?
That's a really good question. I'm not entirely sure. I think it's just mostly about what level of care they need. If they're able to get around at that point, I guess. I'll follow up and find out for you, but um, I think that would be just the biggest hurdle is, are they, do they need extra level of care than what we can provide? That's kind of what it always boils down to.
Okay. Any other questions for Matt? And you have his contact information. If you think of something maybe later today or next week, feel free to follow up with him.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate you taking time to present or share information. Okay, and then Aaron, I'm going to make you co-host. I didn't want to do it while Matt was talking in case I did something weird and uh, ended the whole meeting. So you should be able to share your screen. So we do have our third presenter here with us, who is Aaron Shaw, going to share about the Veterans Treatment Fort. Aaron, if you're ready, go ahead. And if you didn't see it and you came into the meeting a little late, thank you for being here. Please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat, drop your name, organization, contact info. That would be great. Okay, go ahead, Aaron.
So thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you. I'm on mute. Hold on.
We can hear you.
Okay, never. I'm not on mute. Good. That's good. All right. Thank you, Heather. I appreciate you giving me the time, and thank you both for sharing. I love hearing about, recovery in the workplace and trying to have events and supporting it. And I am an advocate for that. I truly believe in like you put us, um, give us the opportunity. We will rise to the challenge, rise to the occasion. So, again, thank you guys. So I am Aaron Shaw. Let me put this in presenter mode. I hope that it looks correct. Can you guys see my slide?
Yes.
Okay. So I am outreach coordinator for InteCare Veteran Services. I am a 2019 graduate of the Indianapolis Veterans Treatment Court. I served in the Army. I'm an Iraq war veteran. I'm also a part of the National Treatment Court Alumni Association Board of Directors. I was certified back in 2021 as a certified recovery specialist community health worker. They have now changed that through CertaMe to CSPS, which is very similar, but that's what I was trained for. And then we did some training to, continue with the CEUs. So again, I'm also the mentor coordinator for Indianapolis Veterans Treatment Court. And through all of these things, I ended up starting a nonprofit in 2021. It's called Indie Vet to Vet, and it has been the best thing that's ever happened to me, and I'm very passionate about it. But today we are here to talk about Indianapolis Veterans Treatment Court. Now, to tell you about all of this and how it's all connected, I just want to tell you a quick story. So imagine an individual who to serve the country, right? They raised their hand and said, I'm willing, I'm ready to go. Whatever you need from me, I'll sign the paper. And that individual, he or she, joined the military, went to basic training, went to AIT, right? Served either active duty or reserves, National Guard, no matter what it is, served honorably, finished their time, right? And after the military, they struggled with the transition out, not only with trying to figure out what do I do with the skills that I learned in the military and how do I transition that over to civilian life, but as veterans, right, while we were in the military, the bonds that you create are undescribable. It's very hard to be able to say it in words, but it's unlike any other, right? You are serving with individuals that will jump in front of a bullet for you without even knowing your name, without hesitation, without question. So that trust and those bonds and those friendships that you build, it's very powerful. So when you leave the military, you're kind of lost. You don't know where to go. You don't know what to do, right? It's like, what do I do now? I was a leader. I was either a platoon leader, or I was a squad leader. I couldn't even, there's um, battalion leaders. We had these skills that we were using as leaders, and then we come out here and we don't know how to transition over. So that individual may lose their way, right? Resort to, it could be drinking, it could be bad habits, it could be a different path and lead us away from a healthy life, right? So, or for example, like me, you end up using alcohol, mixing it with opiates, and then you turn into I literally was a heroin addict for almost a decade. And that led me into, criminal activity. And that went all the way to high speed chase down on Southport Road that ended up on the news. And that's where I ended up in Veterans Treatment Court. Now, I'm not proud of that. 6 felonies. I got into a lot of trouble. I share it because that's the insanity of addiction, as a lot of us know, right? The only reason I did that is because I didn't want to go through withdrawal. I said, nope, I don't feel like stopping today because I need to go use. I don't want to go through withdrawal because I know if I go to jail, I'm gonna go through withdrawal. So now, an individual that was standing proud in that uniform with their head held high and they had all these goals, they were part of something bigger than themselves. Now you're standing in an orange jumpsuit in front of a judge with no clue where to go or what to do, just completely lost. How did I get here? Ashamed, right? Full of guilt and shame. So what Veterans Treatment Court is, that's what we'll go into the description of Veterans Treatment Court. What Veterans Treatment Court is, it's designed to help individuals that may have lost their way. They've got minimal charges. It can't be serious violent felons. It's more like, DUI, drug charges. For me, I had a few others, resisting. There's a couple other things, possession of needle. There was a few, but they are small charges, and it says, look, we see that you lost your way. We understand. We're here to help, and we're going to wrap our arms around you and try to get you back on track. So I walked into Veterans Court. I had no clue what I was going to find, and the judge was like, "How can I help you? What can I do for you today?" I mean, within a week, he got me a brand new coat, some boots. I mean, it's like you don't even understand. And you're like, this doesn't seem right. Why is a judge asking me how he can help me? So at first, we're kind of hesitant. We're addicts. We got that mentality of, nope, something's got to be wrong with this. This can't be right. Well, after you're in the program, you start realizing they truly just want to help. And in this picture is Judge Serto, and I was in Veterans Treatment Court with him for 3 years, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Changed my life. And this man loved to help veterans. He's not a veteran himself, but boy, does he love to help veterans. So again, Veterans Treatment Court is, let's wrap our arms around you. We're going to get you engaged in your VA or healthcare, no matter where it is. If you need treatment, we'll send you off to treatment. If you need housing, we'll help you with housing. Then we're going to get you linked up with a probation officer. You're going to do drug screens, and we're going to try to get you set up for the future so that once you get out of treatment court, it's sustainable, right? We don't want you to come back. Recidivism rate is under 15%. It was under 10% for a decade, but unfortunately, I think we're a little bit above. I think it's about 12. I don't have the exact number because I no longer work for the court. I'm just a volunteer mentor coordinator, but it is, when you're talking about courts, it is very low. Recidivism rate is under 20, and that is amazing, across the board. So we're going to address underlying issues. We're going to identify what PTSD, TBI, which is, for some of you that don't know, you got post-traumatic stress disorder, you got traumatic brain injury, you got military sexual trauma, there's some other things, right? Addiction, mental health, even if it's anxiety, depression, bipolar. So they're going to identify all these things, and we're going to get you set up with VA healthcare, get you treatment, get you housing, and walk through the process with you in phases. There's 5 phases: Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, and Easy phase. And each one has a certain time period. You got to stay clean. And then it emphasizes accountability, treatment, and support, right? And in Veterans Treatment Court, the unique part of that is there are mentors. So we have a mentor coordinator. I'm the mentor coordinator. And then we have mentors. And my goal is to just bring more mentors in and assign the mentors to veterans coming in the program, right? And then, of course, mentors need mentors. So we want to have an opportunity for us to reach out to each other. We have meetings that we can grow together. We learn together. We serve together. So we have this community that we are building that helps us. So right now, to be honest, when I scheduled this with Heather, Veterans Treatment Court was on Fridays. It's been like that for 10 years. Well, it just changed. It's on Thursday, so I just left Veterans Treatment Court. I'm sitting in the parking lot of the Good Spot, which is owned by a Navy veteran, and the rest of the mentors and the participants are in there having lunch right now. And I'm sad because I want to be in there with them. But I gave my word I was going to show up here, and that's what we do in Veteran Court. Accountability, right? We do what we say we're going to do. So as a mentor, we serve as peer support, as role models. We help participate, navigate court and services. We want to promote trust, accountability, and long-term success. But the biggest part of this is all we do is support and assist without interfering. We do not get in the way. We are not part of treatment. We don't make decisions on their behalf. We don't show up and say, oh, he needs to go to treatment. No, that's up to the court to do. We don't deal with their legal issues. We don't do their disability. We are there to support and assist without interfering, giving them someone they can lean on while they're in the program. And if they engage, we a lot of times spend a lot more time with them. We've got individuals that'll go to lunch every week. We got individuals that'll go to our kayaking event, which is this Saturday from 2 to 8 at Geist Park. If you're in Indianapolis, sorry, I shouldn't be doing that, but we love having these opportunities. Like, we want to have healthy activities that are sober, that we can engage and spend time together, and do the right thing and teach them how to do things healthy and do them right without drugs and alcohol. So engaging justice involved veterans. One of the big things is, as you all know, this is in recovery. It's across the board. Meet them where they're at. Practice active listening. This is the most powerful tool you have, each and every one of you. All I got to do is sit and listen. If someone comes to me and says, I'm gonna, like, I don't know what to do anymore. I'm ready to just give up. I don't want to do it. I'm thinking about doing something stupid today. The best thing for me to do is just listen, sit and be calm. It's scary. I don't know what to do, man. I don't know what this individual, just sit and listen, give them the time to share, and then we can engage, right? And talk. A lot of times when we talk through it, they'll talk themselves into their own solution. And then lead with respect, authenticity, and consistency. We don't show up trying to be something that we're not. We don't lie about what we do or where we're at or what. Honesty, accountability, and respect. Veterans really, they're all about respect, and we have trust issues because, of course, we had those bonds in the military. When you get out of the military, people throw you under the bus for like $5, man. So it's hard to build trust when you have that experience. So just making sure that we're paying attention, that we're engaging with justice-involved veterans. Now, building trust and rapport, like I was talking about, understanding the military culture, right? And then using shared experience appropriately. I struggle with this. When individuals share their experience, I'm like, oh, I know what you mean. I've been through that. I've got an experience, and I want to share to let them know that I can relate and I can connect. But sometimes I'll overdo it and I sound like I'm trying to one up everybody. And that is not the case. That's not my intention. So I've had to learn how to slow down and just be like, I hear you. I'm sorry that you went through that. I feel for you. I'm here to support whatever I can do. And then maintain boundaries and confidentiality. This is huge with, I think, all across the board, but especially with veterans. When a veteran shares something with you, it stays between you and that veteran. You don't go tell another mentor. You don't go tell the judge. You don't go tell someone at the VA. You let them share their information the way they want to share it. Because the first thing that will get a veteran to run back out there into the streets is, I shared something personal with you, and then they come into court and they hear the probation officer talking about something that they only shared with you. Now oh, you've been talking about behind my back. You've been talking about my business. That will break that trust, and that will completely cross that boundary and destroy any relationship, any help that you have with that individual. So I encourage you, make sure that we keep what they share to ourselves, right? Now, common pitfalls, over identifying or rescuing. That's something I got to work on. Making assumptions based on service. Like, just because you're in combat, you must have trauma. Or just because you didn't go to combat, you don't have any trauma. Incorrect. Just because you went overseas, you probably saw action. Just because you didn't go overseas, you probably did not see action. Incorrect, right? Making assumptions, asking about traumatic experiences. This is something that's done all across the board. I have children walk up to me and say, "Did you kill anybody?" It's, of course, we give grace when it's, but individuals that are grown enough to know, we don't ask that. We don't ask about trauma unless they're willing to share. We just sit back and listen, and once they want to share, then we keep it to ourselves. And that, go back to that breaking trust credibility. That's huge for us. So takeaways, right? Veterans treatment courts rely on strong mentor engagement. Authentic connection drives outcomes, right? We're looking for those bonds that we lost. We want to find that community. And a lot of times we find it in veterans because they think and feel the way we feel. But then we start realizing we can share this with the rest of the community, with civilians, so that they can understand us. Because I found that a lot of people want to help. They just don't know what to do or how to do it, right? So at first, when I left the military, us against them, they don't understand me. I've been in the military. They don't know me. How can they relate? They can't help me. Now I understand that the only way for us to help them help us is to communicate, right? So engagement, alumni leadership. So as alumni, those who have graduated the program, a few of our mentors are alumni. Carzell's an alumni. Jennifer's an alumni. I'm an alumni. And what that means is we've been through a treatment court and we graduated and we came back to be a mentor, right? Again, best thing ever happened to me. It was a whole process. Graduated, came back to speak at the graduation, became a mentor, and then the mentor coordinator position opened up about a year later. And I've been the mentor coordinator since 2022. So alumni leadership and continued service. So for those that have graduated, we can come back and serve the court. And whether you're an alumni, whether you're a veteran, it does not matter. you are more than welcome to come connect with us and help us to support these veterans in this program. We want community members. We want everyone to see what we're doing here. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you sit in this courtroom with our newest judge, Judge Broadwell, which is our first female judge in Indy Vet Court, right? And we are so excited. She is unbelievable. I'm talking just the first day she came in, just a natural. I mean, connecting with the veterans, having a conversation. Let's talk through this, and then keeping them accountable whenever they're full of it. Because, of course, when I was in the program, I was trying to work the system. So, again, we're grateful for this opportunity. And as mentor or alumni, we come back to serve. We can be advocates just by living this. We're advocates, showing others that it's possible. Being professionals in the environment is a great way to connect with the veterans, the treatment courts. And then after that, we want to connect with all treatment courts, right? There are DUI courts, drug courts, family courts, mental health courts, therapeutic courts. It's on such a big platform, I had no clue. And where I found this was at All Rise. There is a conference every year. It's Rise 25, Rise 26, and it is basically all treatment court professionals from across the world. And now we have a huge group of alumni, treatment court graduates that show up as speakers at these conferences so they can see what all of their work, how the success is coming from that. I want to be careful not to take too much time, but I'm very passionate about connecting with all treatment courts because as alumni, as graduates, they're all based on the 10 key components. All treatment courts are based on the 10 key components. They just have their own designated, whether it's court, therapeutic court, they kind of have their own little way depending on who they serve. Like with veterans treatment courts, specific to veterans, they're connected to the VA. They've got these, connected to the veterans community in Indianapolis or wherever they're at. So I encourage you to get on allrise.org, check that out, collaborate with other treatment courts. That way we can start building alumni groups, right? And then we can do mentorship across tracks. So I can learn about drug courts and you can learn about veterans courts and I can learn about treatment courts. Apologies. I get excited. Let me slow down. So how to get involved globally. You can join NTCAA and that'll be on the last slide. There's a QR code. And with that, you can find allrise.org. They have training that's free for mentors, for peers, for professionals. Again, for community members that are looking to support treatment courts. You can start a local group if you're familiar with the treatment courts and you know people in the treatment court. Encourage them to start an alumni group and support them in that, right? Whether you give them the space to do it or provide the food, we're looking for any kind of help. And I'd be happy to help if you have any questions. And then the national awareness. Man, I tell you what, if you're ever able to go to Rise, it is 8,000 treatment court professionals. Last year, it was over 8,000. We had over 300 alumni, 300 graduates, and then we have a grad shack. That's this picture. This is the grad shack. These are all of the alumni and graduates. These are the individuals that I do presentations with all across the world. The one laying down, that's Carlos. He's from New Mexico. Dina's behind him. I could go into this, man. I love this stuff. I'm passionate, but there's only 5 minutes left, right? Here are the shoot for the moon. Let's do it all. I want to learn about everything, and I love to help anybody that I can. Check it out. It's great. And then if you guys want to join, you do not have to be a graduate to join NTCAA. And you'll get an email every month, and then we do like a topic of the week for our alumni recovery support group every single week. And we'd love for you guys to join in on that. Treatment court graduates to join in on that. Now, because we're running out of time, here is the QR codes. You got Facebook, and then you've got join at the bottom right. And then if you just want to check out ntcaa.net, you can see, check out our board members, check out our success stories. There's a lot of videos from All Rise where they interviewed the graduates. But thank you guys for the time. Heather, I really appreciate this. I love to share, and hopefully I get to come back down the road and I can tell you guys more about Indy Vet to Vet, which is here in Indianapolis, and it serves veterans. It's all interconnected because we support individuals in treatment court and alumni and participants and all veterans. Yeah. Thanks again. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Erin, for your service and then the work you continue to do and your passion. It's definitely no denying that you care about the people you work with and want to serve and that building that connection. So thank you. And please do follow up with Erin if you're interested in learning more. I know we're about out of time, so I want to just drop in the chat. We released our state of recovery report that we conducted a survey at the end of last year. And so now we have those results into a comprehensive report that's available on the website. And then if anybody wants to share, I know we only have a couple minutes, but you can, yep, we'll start with you, Jason, and just keep it, if you could, to a minute so other folks can. Go ahead and unmute yourself and share. And then I'm going to drop my email in the chat too. If anybody wants to present at a future meeting or join the network and you're not a member yet, just send me a message and we can connect. Okay, go ahead, Jason.
Okay, thank you, Heather. I was going to share my screen, but I'm not going to because we don't really have time. Jason Padgett, I was a peer recovery coach. I helped kind of develop peer recovery support services around the greater Lafayette area. I now work for an AI company that has an absolutely amazing app that allows individuals to navigate the systems of care and find wraparound services around housing, food, instability, work, travel. It's all vetted, so it's updated in real time. My coworker Oliver just dropped the demo in the chat, so I suggest you all try it out. And if it's something that you're interested in, please reach out to us because we are trying to spread this out. It's kind of a liaison between the end user and a recovery coach or a case manager that allows you a lot more bandwidth and them a lot more real-time conversation to find resources.
Thank you, Jason. Appreciate that. Okay, anyone else? Jeremy, you want to share? We've got 2 minutes.
Yeah, I just wanted to share how much of a fan I am of problem-solving courts. I'm an alumni for Grant County Drug Court. It made a huge change. It changed the whole trajectory of my life. So I'm grateful for judges that are willing to embrace these types of thoughts of rehabilitation, real rehabilitation versus incarceration. And the money that it saves the community is ungodly by the time you figure out all the time that it would be to house somebody. My uncle is also a mentor in Grant County Drug Court or Veterans Court. I mean, he served in Iraq and also in Vietnam. So he was a Marine in Vietnam and an Air Force. And so I've seen multiple sides of vet court, problem solving court, reentry court, and just love all of them. All the problem solving courts.
Grant County is doing big things, man.
Yes, they are. Very big things. Yeah. So I just wanted to share my support for Erin and their endeavors. And I got the opportunity to meet Lee and Erin at the NAMI conference. And Lee was such an amazing wealth of knowledge, Lee Stansberry. So just kudos to you guys and kudos to every other presenter here today as well. You guys did an awesome job. That's all I got.
Thanks, Jeremy. And if you have to go, certainly understand. I'm happy to keep it open. If folks have time and they want to share, feel free to unmute yourself, raise your virtual hand. If you want to plug your organization, no pressure. It's good to see some of you on here that I haven't seen in a while. So thanks for popping in. Jen, glad you could be here. Good to see you. Y'all remember Jen?
Hey, everybody. Yeah, sorry, I was driving, so I had my camera off for a little bit. I'm so happy to be back on here, seeing all my old familiar faces. I'm now with New Life Behavioral Health up in Fishers as community outreach. So I put down a whole bunch of people's emails. So you'll probably be getting an email from me to see if we can connect, maybe make a partnership or set up a meeting. So I'll be presenting in May. So I'm very excited about that. Hi, Eric. I'm so happy to see you too.
Aw, the gang is all here.
Yay.
Okay.
I know. I know. It's good to see you all.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, lots of folks haven't seen them all. Jason, Jen, yeah, Susan, who was on here for a little bit. So, okay, well, thank you all for being here. I did put in the chat, our next meeting is April 16th, same time, same link. Again, if you want to present at an upcoming meeting, just shoot me an email. I think I put that in the chat too. You know where to find me. Been at the same place for quite a while now. So, all right. Thanks, everyone. Hope you enjoy the rest of this nice sunny day. Bye.